Hola, hola, ¿qué tal chicos? ¿Cómo están? Espero que estén muy bien. Hoy vamos a aprender sobre el verbo to know, el verbo saber y el verbo conocer. Los dos verbos significan to know, así que vamos a ver ejemplos de cómo se usan y cuándo se usan. Ok, el verbo saber y conocer. Los dos verbos significan to know, but they're not used interchangeably. It depends on the situation, whether you're going to use conocer or saber. So let's see. First, we're going to take a look at the verb saber. First, we need to know the forms of the verb or the conjugations and then when to use it. So for the first person, we're going to use sé. Yo sé. So if you want to say I know for the yo form, for the first person form is yo sé. If it's about you, the second person, tú sabes. Here, this is optional. This is optional. You don't need to say yo sé, just sé is enough. Or tú sabes. If you just say sabes, that already means you know. So the pronoun, the subject pronoun becomes optional. Okay, now for the third person, usted, él, ella, the form is sabe. So the es ending and the e ending here for the er verb, right? So the yo form is irregular because we don't say yo sabo. Normally you have learned that you should drop the er ending or ar or ir ending and then just put an o if it's about yourself. So you would think to say I know you should say yo sabo, but it's actually not the case. This is incorrect. So this word doesn't exist. We say yo sé to say I know. Okay, so tú sabes, usted sabe, él, ella sabe. Now, if these are the singular forms, right? But now with plural, so not I, but a group of people and I, so we, nosotros, sabemos, nosotros sabemos, we know. And then ustedes, ellos, ellas. The form for this is saben. Ustedes saben. So you guys know, or you all know, or they know. They meaning just a group of men or a mixed group, or ellas meaning a group of just females. Ellas saben. So these are the forms. Yo sé, tú sabes, él sabe, ella sabe, usted sabe, nosotros sabemos, ustedes, ellos, ellas saben. Okay, so here is the nosotros. I'm going to write it down here just so that you have it. So nosotros sabemos. Okay, so now when do we use it? We're going to use it when we're talking about skills, something that we know how to do. We're going to use it when we are talking about information that we know, or facts, or something that we know by heart, something that we have memorized. So if I want to say that I know how to speak French, I would say yo sé hablar. And notice that this verb is going to be infinitive. It's not going to be conjugated. I'm not going to say yo sé hablo to say I know how to speak, because that would translate to I know I speak. And I want to say I know how to speak. So yo sé hablar francés, if I want to say that I know how to speak French. Okay. If I want to say that you know how to ski, I could say tú sabes esquiar. Okay. If I want to say that my mom knows how to cook very well, I could say ella, for mi mamá, for she, ella sabe cocinar muy bien. Okay, so the verb is conjugated according to the subject, of course. And then if I'm talking about a skill, the second verb is not conjugated. I already conjugated the first, the verb to know, the verb saber. So the second one doesn't need to be conjugated. The verb conocer is never followed by an infinitive, but the verb saber, yes. So that's another hint that you can use to remember when to use saber versus conocer. So we also use it, as I said, for information or facts. So if I know somebody's phone number, I could say, I know his phone number. I could say, yo sé su número de teléfono. Yo sé su número de teléfono. I'm using the verb saber because this is information that I know. If I want to say that you guys, my students, you know the days of the week in Spanish, you know all 7 days from Monday through Sunday. That's information that you know. So I would say, you guys, ustedes saben los días de la semana en español. Okay, and then if I know something by memory, by heart, I also am going to use the verb saber. So let's say that I want to say that my kids know the national anthem. They have it memorized. I could say ellos saben el himno nacional. Okay, so again, I conjugated the verb saber according to who is doing the action. Okay. And I'm using it to talk about information or skills or something that somebody knows by heart, memorized. Okay, let's look now at the verb conocer. So the forms of the verb conocer. It is irregular in the yo form as well. So it's going to be conozco for the yo form. So there's a Z here that appeared out of nowhere. And this is basically to keep the sound of the C here, because the verb conocer here has an S sound for the C, right? Conocer. So we want to keep that sound. Otherwise, if we just replace the ER with an O, then this would sound conozco, because the C with the O makes a hard sound like K. So conozco is totally different from conozco, which still keeps that sound. So conozco is I know. And then for all the other ones, you just do what you regularly do with ER verbs. You just put the endings, dropping the ER and putting the ending. So conoces for tú, you know, tú conoces. So this is yo, this is tú, this is usted, él, ella. Usted, él, ella conoce. Usted conoce, ella conoce, él conoce. And then for the plural, so nosotros conocemos. We put EMOS because it's an ER verb. And then ustedes, ellos, ellas conocen. Okay, so yo conozco, tú conoces, usted, él, ella conoce, nosotros conocemos, ustedes, ellos, ellas conocen. So here we're using the verb conocer in different situations. So when are we going to use it? We're going to use it when we're talking about being familiar with a place or a person, being acquainted with a place or a person. So if I'm talking about a person with the verb conocer, I'm basically using it to say that I have met this person before, that I know them personally, that we have spent time together, that we have hung out, know each other personal level. And if it's about a place, it means that I have visited this place, that I have been there, that I know my way around this place. Maybe not, super well, but I am familiar with it. I am acquainted with it. So also, if we're using the verb conocer with people, we may need to use direct object pronouns. So to say like, I know, I don't know, let's say I know the president of Valencia College. And this is, it's a lady. So I want to say, I know her, meaning I have met her. She knows who I am. I know who she is. Okay, let's say that I know her in a personal level. I want to say, I know her. The word for her is a direct object pronoun. So I could say, yo la conozco. So I know her. Her is la. And then conozco is I know, right? So I know her. I know her. Yo la conozco. If I'm talking about a male, let's say I know the governor of the state. He's Ron DeSantis. Let's say that I know him. I want to say I know him. Yo lo conozco. So I know him. Let's say that I want to say that you know your classmates. You know your classmates. If I'm talking directly to one person and I want to say, oh, you know Mary and Juan, for example, you know them, you have met them before, they have been in the class before, you know them. If I'm talking to you as one person, I'm going to say, tú los conoces. So I'm conjugating the verb to the form of tú because I'm talking to you, one person, and then I'm using the direct object pronoun that goes with ellos. So for them, so you know them, tú los conoces. The verb is conjugated according to the subject, the person that is doing the action, and then we place the direct object pronoun right before the verb, the conjugated verb. So tú los conoces, you know them. Okay. So we also could say, for example, you know, or we know the presidents and the first lady. Okay, so if we want to say that we know them, that we have met them before, that we're familiar with them, we could say, let's say I'm talking about my husband and I, and let's say that we have both met the president and his wife, the first lady. I could say nosotros, so my husband and I, nosotros, los, meaning the president and his wife, them, and then conocemos. Conocemos is conjugated, of course, to agree with nosotros. So we know, and then who? Who do we know? We know them. Los conocemos. Nosotros los conocemos. Again, the direct object pronoun goes before the verb that is conjugated. It's a weird order because in English, we put it at the end, right? Right after the verb. But in Spanish, we put it before the verb. So nosotros los conocemos means we know them. And of course, you previously were introduced to the people that I'm talking about. So you know that when I say them, I mean the president and his wife. Okay, and let's say that my son, my oldest son, knows his teacher. So I could say él la conoce, meaning the teacher, her. Okay, so the verb is conjugated according to él, third person, and then la is a direct object pronoun that goes with ella. So él la conoce. Okay, there are several examples and exercises that you guys can do on VHL. So I would recommend that you start reviewing direct object pronouns so that you know how to use the verb conocer with direct object pronouns. But for now, let's continue practicing with conocer. So if I want to distinguish between when to use saber and when to use conocer, let's look at them together. So if I want to say that I know where a city is in the map, I would have to use the verb saber because that's information. Okay, so for example, I could say, yo sé dónde está París. So I know where Paris is. I know where it is in the map. But I'm also familiar with it because I have been there. I have visited this place. I could say, yo conozco París. Okay. Now I could say that I know where Maine is. So yo sé dónde está Maine. Yo sé que Maine está en los Estados Unidos, en el norte, en la frontera con Canadá, pero yo no conozco. I have never been there, so yo no conozco Maine. So I could say, pero yo no conozco Maine. Now, the word pero is the word that I'm using here to say but I don't know Maine, okay? If I want to say I don't know it, I could replace, so I don't have to say Maine again. So yo no lo conozco, okay? Talking about Maine. If I want to say that I know where, let's see, Egypt is in the map, right? Or I want to use a different subject. Let's say you know where Egypt is in the map. I'm using the word donde. Donde is a question word. Usually you're going to see the verb saber with question words versus with conocer. You're not going to see it with question words. When I mean question words, I'm talking about the words like what, where, who, like donde, quién, cuándo, donde, cuándo, quién, qué. These are question words. So where, when, who, what. So let's use, you know who took the bread, let's say. You know somebody, you know that somebody took the bread and you know who it is. I could say, tú sabes quién, question word, agarró means took, agarró el pan. You know who took the bread. Tú sabes quién agarró el pan. Okay, so using the verb saber because we have a question word and we're also talking about information that you know. Okay, we're not talking about being familiar with it. We're just talking about the fact that you know about this or the information. Okay, let's see more examples. If I know something by heart, I can also use the verb saber. If I'm talking about skills, I can also use the verb saber. So let's say that I know how to swim very well. I could say, yo sé nadar muy bien. If I want to say that my kids know how to play soccer very well, ellos saben jugar fútbol muy bien. Okay, let's say that I want to say my husband, he knows how to play the drums. So, él sabe tocar. And notice that I'm not using jugar, even though jugar means to play. Jugar means to play with sports, and then tocar means to play with instruments, musical instruments. So, él sabe tocar la batería. That's the drums, the drum set. Okay, so él sabe tocar la batería. Yo no sé tocar instrumentos musicales. For me, I don't know how to play anything. I just know how to clap. So, yo no sé tocar instrumentos musicales. Okay, muy bien. So in this case, this girl, she knows how to play the guitar. Ella sabe tocar la guitarra. And so, tarea. Your homework is to do VHL, as you guys already know, so I don't have to remind you. It's there on a weekly basis. Don't forget it, that's for extra practice. And if you want to watch the tutorials there, you should also do that to help you. But other than that, this is the end. Es el final. Muchas gracias, chicos. Nos vemos.